Hi, I'm Matt Bubala here with another Fountain Report conversation. Very excited to be joined this week by Dr. Chris Pachel. He is the owner of Animal Behavior Clinic in Portland, Oregon. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me on, Matt. I appreciate that.
Dr. Pachel, we've talked about ownership a lot in these Fountain Report conversations, and you have a very fascinating journey. Will you just detail for me some of your ownership history?
Certainly. I refer to myself as an accidental owner, first and foremost, in that when I stepped away from my residency program back in Minneapolis, University of Minnesota, back in, 2005 at this point, I was basically, what do I do now? I guess I open a practice, so here we go. So I was terribly uninformed, minimally educated, and just operating on a wing and a prayer. Sidebar, I don't recommend that. But it worked for a variety of ways. I was working in a house call-based practice in Minneapolis, St. Paul for a number of years, ended up transitioning to Portland, working with my mentor for about a year, and then purchased the practice that I was working in. So became an owner of an acquired practice at that point, navigated that for a number of years, and then in 2020 combined training teams with another individual, a business owner in the Portland area, and we launched Instinct Dog Behavior and Training Portland, which is a division of a larger parent company where we've got locations across the US, of which I'm also a partial co-owner of the parent company there as well. So between sole ownership of Animal Behavior Clinic, which I've done now since 2011, co-owner of Instinct Portland since 2020, or co-owner of Instinct Inc. since 2018, I'm wearing a few different hats within that conversation, and it gets a little complicated sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. You've got some fires going. You've got your
Yes.
So let's talk. Let's ask you to share some knowledge for everybody, because I think a lot of the talk in veterinary medicine today is about ownership. Corporate has become such a large portion of ownership, and now it seems that it's a little bit swinging back the other way. More and more private practice talk is coming around. So when we go back to Minneapolis, you started from scratch. You started your own clinic.
Yes.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from that experience?
So I learned at that point to, number one, be flexible. It was a solo practice. I had part-time help to start, so I was doing all of the things. I was doing intake. I was faxing records. I was doing all the things. And the value in that is that I could absolutely meet every client's needs personally, because it was just me. And then as I brought on team members, then it became, well, I'm still able to operate somewhat nimbly, but I have to be able to maintain some consistency of operation while also being flexible. And so that process really taught me a lot about how do you maintain that consistency while also continuing to listen to the demands and the requests of your client base, so you're still there. We're a service industry at the end of the day, and the beginning of the day for that matter. And so how do you continue to do that consistently, showing up, meeting those needs, asking the questions, and trying to continue to deliver?
It seems that one of the biggest issues when you start your own thing, whatever it is you have to do everything. Maybe not because you have to, but because you feel that you have to. So Dr. Pachel, we forgot to tell you, you're moving next week. You're moving to Nashville. They need a new practice. You're opening one from scratch in Nashville next week.
Yeah.
What are you going to do differently?
What am I going to do differently? If I were starting over again at this point, number one, I would breathe before I did anything. Right in those early days, you're just winging it, and you're just, some days it's just like, it's a scramble, it's never ending. And when I look back on that, I was like, wow, I think I actually made that a lot more stressful than it needed to be, feeling like I needed to be everything to everyone, every moment. And the reality is, again, now add 20 years of life onto that, setting appropriate boundaries around some of those responsibilities actually helps to preserve my ability to meet those needs for those clients in a way that, again, I was 20 years younger, so maybe that had something to do with it, but I think if I were starting again, I'd be a little bit more aware of what I can and can't do, and be able to lean in and fully invest myself in those opportunities and be very clear on what I can't do or what I can't do in this moment. What does it look like to offload that, or to get somebody else in to fill that niche that's just not mine to own in that moment? So breathe, don't be afraid to set some boundaries, and really lean on the folks around you. And that's what I would do if I were going to Nashville.
Sure.
Is say, who else here can I collaborate with, either as my referral market or the other professionals in my area, so that I don't have that feeling of needing to be everything to everyone again.
Dr. Chris Pachel from Animal Behavior Clinics in Portland, thank you so much for being with us as always.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that's another Fountain Report Conversation. I'm Matt Bubala. We'll see you next time.